Hello, and welcome back to Advanced Concepts. Today, before we get into the Goblins, there's one little loose end I want to tie up here. So, exiting the Fagundo's Annex for the second time, you get another message. Now, this is something I do when I'm making the end cards for my episodes. I run back through the level again just to check the scrolls to make sure I haven't missed anything. And glad I don't have to do that again. All that spinning was making me dizzy. Yes, so you're just, I don't know if it's an Easter egg or just like a convenience thing here, but basically if you've completed the Fagundo's room, if you enter this room and it's already been cleared, then Mithra says that, I guess, so that you realize you can just ignore the Fagundo and not have to try to clear the room again. So anyway, there was that. One other point, I guess, before we get into this Goblins level, which obviously this Goblin's not going to help us now, is that I know I'm posting, well, I wanted to upload this about 4 to 5 hours ago, but I had a long weekend, which resulted in me being less productive than usual. Funny how that works. So yeah, back at it. I'll try to keep things going this week, get things done in a reasonable manner. Goblins, oh boy. I think goblins are one of those enemies that you can really see your growth and development as a DROD player. The very first time you run across goblins, whether that's probably King Dugan's Dungeon or Journey to Rooted Hold, I guess, would be the two places where, depending on which one you started with, where you'd be most likely to first run into goblins. And these things are impossible to deal with at first. They don't make any sense. They seem to be really hard to control. They always come at you from the back because they're avoiding your sword. And then you play around with them a bit and things start to sort of fall into place and you sort of figure things out. And I feel like this is one of those enemies where if you go back and play those King Dugan Dungeon Goblin levels, it's so much easier the second time. And so if you're ever doubting that you've improved as a DROD player, it's definitely something I'd recommend doing if you want a quick self-esteem boost. Because this is one enemy that it takes practice, but they're actually fairly manageable, at least in small numbers, as long as you know what you're doing. They're small, sneaky, green, and generally unpleasant. They like to get behind you if they can, and you usually have to chase them to kill them. Goblins. But what exactly makes them tick? Here in the Goblin Annex, this question and others will be answered for you. Ooh, other questions. Exciting. Jacob again. Okay. This is a really weird hub level. I'm not sure what to make of this. Is it telling me I have to start here or here? Is that... Okay, I mean... Okay, I mean there's no point in dropping these. I'm going to anyway, but I don't need to. I do see the secret. For whatever reason. Let's read this. Escape hatch, okay. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot I can do here. I can go this way. Or I can go this way. This way is completely full, whereas this has a shape that would allow me to get into here. So I could go to here, and from here I can go into here. From here I can go anywhere, I guess. And to get up here, I need this. Okay, interesting. Anyway, I'm going to choose this way first. Okay, that looks simple enough. So we got a maze of some sort. Goblins consider all their 8 surrounding tiles and pick the one that gets them closest to you. This is why the bottom goblin can move southwest to leave the marked area. The other goblin is not far enough south to have the option to move southwest. Okay, that calls for restarting the room. So if we wait here... Aha, he won't move south. Okay. Oh, I see. I need this goblin here in order for me to move far enough south to get this goblin out. Okay. Like, this is a tiny little room, but it's a fairly clever little setup. A moment of paranoia where I check to make sure that I'm still actually recording. Yeah, you can go this way. No, you. Yeah, that's not gonna work, is it? There we go. Goblins are one of those enemies where... actually, goblins are probably the enemy, which is why I don't use Unlimited Undo when I'm playing. And I think I mentioned this before, I probably should use it when I'm doing the recordings, just to make things easier to watch, but I don't. The reason I don't is because I feel like my ability to manipulate goblins precisely would never have been developed if I was using Unlimited Undo. I would just keep doing trial and error until I got what I wanted. If it only costs you a second to hit backspace when you screw up, then it's really easy and you don't have to actually understand how they're doing what they're doing. But... okay, we don't need these guys anymore. But yeah, so goblins are the reason I don't use Unlimited Undo, basically. And I guess, like, at this point, the odds of me running across any new elements, custom element contest notwithstanding, I probably don't need to be doing that anymore, but I feel like it keeps me in a good habit. It's only really ever annoying in tar mazes, which, yeah, it's fine, so... Secret room. Yeah, so there's our final exit, it looks like. Intriguing. Wait, I can take this. I could take this. Okay, so this isn't the exit. This is the exit. This is just the a post blue door secret. Like, this is the challenge room. And there's a lot of really weird and interesting design decisions that I've noticed in these levels. Okay, so for now, I mean, I can come back, which would actually let me take this route right now? No, because I can't get in. Okay. So I can go this way, I can go that way eventually, I can come back. This is, I mean, it's cool, but at the same time I feel like it's distracting from the purpose of this place, which is to be about goblins. Oh boy. An arrow maze. Yeah, I mean, see, like, look, this is a puzzle of sorts. Just I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, I just feel like this is not the place. Not the time or place. When assessing which of their 8 surrounding tiles is closest to you, goblins use the distance in straight lines using Pythagoras' theorem. Yes, goblins are smart and good at math. This fact enables you to manipulate them from a distance. You can attract the goblin out of each of the 4 walled-off areas by standing in line with one of the goblin's 8 surrounding tiles. I'm gonna have to read that again, I wasn't paying attention to myself. You can attract the goblin out of each of the 4 walled-off areas, and I guess they mean, by that they mean, these... here? By standing in line with one of the goblin's 8 surrounding tiles. Okay. Bear in mind the order in which a goblin compares its movement options each turn, covered elsewhere on this level. As a result of this order, the goblin can be convinced to move in northwesterly directions more easily than southeasterly ones. Okay, that's something I already know. But... wait, these are the same thing? Okay, so it's just a symmetry thing. Not just a symmetry thing. I need to stop him from dying, don't I? Oh no, because if I do this, he's gonna die. No, he's not. He can still move. There we go. I'm curious. Is that broken wall necessary? Signs point to yes. Okay. So what's going on here? Why would I not just do these on my own? All I need to do is get you here, right? Good enough. Yeah. So the thing that I overlooked, probably, is that I can't actually get back in here. Yep, that would be the one. Okay, fine. Goblin, you're coming with me. So that's what they mean by this. Okay, so if I step here... Yeah, so goblins, this particular interaction involving goblins is not something I'm terribly familiar with. Like, I know how it works, but it's not something I've ever actually had to study before. So what's going on here? You are calculating... If I step here... Why is it that when I step here, you decide that this is a good spot? Like, I know the scrolls even just explain this. Something about Pythagoras and diagonals. You want to... Because these two squares are equally distant from here. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, and then 1 off. Okay. And then you have a preference. This was explained elsewhere on the level, but I believe goblins prefer left to right, top to bottom, including weight. So they check here, here, and here. So between these two squares, it prefers this to the weight. I think that's what's happening? Okay. So I step here, and you move like that. Why? Is this square and this square equally distant to here? They are. Oh, okay. Okay, that is the sound of understanding. So I step here, and you move here because these two are the same, and you prefer that direction to waiting. So same deal here, I can keep you moving along like that. Now here's going to be the shortest square for sure, but I don't want you to go south again. So I do that. I know it's going to work, but I want to make sure I understand why. Here, okay, here, standing here, this spot is closer, but I think the sword is scaring you. Yeah. Sword is scaring you. No. The Force arrow is preventing you from moving. That's what's going on. Okay, yeah. Force arrow is preventing you from moving because you'd want to move here or here right now. Preferably here, but you'll accept that as a second move. Okay, and then I step here, and now that's your... It's better than waiting, which is the only move you can make. Okay. Okay, I think I've got it figured out. Oh, these aren't... Okay, these aren't marked, and the reason they're not marked is because this is the same issue. Now, from here, you prefer here or here. Those are the two options that are equally close, but in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you prefer wait to number 7 down here. Oops, which means I have to go up here to get you back out. Which probably means I need to take you all the way around this way. Whoops, wrong button. Yes, because of the force arrow, you can't go in there. Because of this force arrow, you can't go in there. And now you're gonna prefer north. Okay. Wow. So yeah, that room happened. I don't think this is a fantastic room for demonstrating this aspect of Goblin movement. Again, a complaint with the way the level's laid out. It suggested that I should probably have done a different room first to understand why it had to go one way over the other. But I guess I'm familiar enough with Goblins that this isn't actually too much of an issue for me. Oh boy. Goblins ignore the swords of inactive clones. Never mind, this looks really easy. I don't want to scare you onto that, so I have to wait. Then back up. Yeah, I have to do that sort of thing to get you into place. And I guess I can just... Yeah. Okay, that was a weird room. But worth pointing out that they do that, I guess. Back down here, which, if I were to take this path, I could get here. So I think we want to just backtrack and then do this. I could also get here. And from here I could get here. Or from here. Ah, what a mess. Ah, what a silly level. Some of the most common puzzles involving goblins are those where you have to manipulate them using the fact that they move away from your sword. Remember that goblins can be used to block the movement of other monsters and vice versa. An understanding of goblin movement preferences discussed elsewhere will be useful in this room. Okay, well, I mean, this is pretty much what I already knew. Odds are that if this was a modern hold, that these arrows would be deactivated. Well, no, if that's the case, then they would have just put a ring of doors around it anyway. So maybe those arrows actually play a role? I can ignore this plate and then hit that plate and die. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Is my only option to get the goblin on that? Won't that kill the goblin? Right, like that's how those open. That's how those open. Goblins don't light fuses. Well, that was an easy way to fix that. I understand how goblins work, honest. Right, so the reason that this works, and this is why these are arrows, is because using Pythagoras, this and this are both further from me than the space that the goblin is waiting on, and because of the force arrow, it can't actually move closer. Okay. So I think because of the rattlesnake, I actually want to get the snake first before I put the goblin in there. And also, I need to do this one after this one. Okay. Flee, goblin. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Let's try that. There we go. No, actually, I can... Goblin moves last. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, I guess I'll do that. Right. Yeah, I had to use the rattlesnake to catch the goblin at the end. I'm trying to figure out why this works. Here, if I move the sword here, I think what it is the goblin is trying to move this way, and then it's just doing a panic runaway move, and it sees this as over that or something. Or maybe it's because it's trying to stab me. Like if I do that, it will run away. Okay. I don't actually understand that. I'm hoping that this hold will teach me eventually. Goblins regard decoys and their swords in the same way they regard throw. Okay. Okay, so I have to orient this sword in such a way that I'm simultaneously hitting this. No. I hit this. Right, that opens, and then the goblin tries to get around. Okay. That's what's going on here. Thank you, goblin. Probably don't want you there, because it might mess up pathing somewhere. Somewhere along the way, somehow. Okay, it looks like there's no... Okay, well, this looks like a nothing part of the puzzle. I think I solved the puzzle, basically. When forced to choose, goblins give priority to throw in his sword. Okay. So right now it's equally distant, but if I step here, yeah, the Goblin is scared, more scared of Vthrow than the Mimic. Decoy. Also Mimic. I bet that this is going to say it ignores the Mimic Sword completely. Yep. Basically that. So there's no reason whatsoever to actually hit that last pressure plate. From here... we can get this way. Goblins also take the location of Decoy's swords into account when deciding where to move. Didn't I just do this? I feel like this setup was supposed to get me to do the rooms in a certain order, but it failed to do so. I know I keep talking about the actual, like, the platforms and stuff, and not the goblins, and, you know, it's probably annoying, and I'm sorry, but I can't help it. I need to comment on all of this, and I don't know. I'll try to stop complaining about it. Because like I said, I do really like the way it's set up, but anyway. Ramble. Goblins also take the location of Decoy Swords. Yeah, okay, so that's where we are. You! What do I need you to do? I need to hit... First of all, nothing hits this. Not me, not the Goblin. Here, this opens, so I step on this. I step on this. And then you are free. And at this point... I need to get you onto this. So, what's that potion for? Is there some reason I can't just do that? Okay, that answers that. Potion. I could do that, but that would be silly. Potion is there just to keep the Goblin from stepping on the hot tile. Okay. Thank you for the checkpoint. See, now if I do that, you're gonna die. I got you oriented the wrong way. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, there aren't that many options. That might work. Which gives me the ability to... Okay. Which gives me the ability to do that. Okay. No, that was a good little room demonstrating that. This is silly. Okay, I have actually done everything in here that I can, right? So there's that for some reason. I guess to give me free reign. I think this is the only way out, which means that it's half an hour, but I feel like I'm actually getting close to finished here. This might be the last room? Another really small entry. So wait, so what was the thing that I didn't understand about this room? Right, why the Goblin doesn't run away from my sword in certain places. This maybe, so if this is a Goblin preference room, yeah, okay, so this is what this is going to be, probably. The thing that I should have done first, apparently, according to a bunch of other rooms in this entry. Goblins will choose between their 8 surrounding tiles. The tiles that are closest to Vthrow are ranked highest, while those adjacent to the sword are ranked lowest. Even if the tile is adjacent to both the throw and the sword, that would make sense, because if I was like this, Goblin's here. Goblin is not going to step this way because it's adjacent to my sword. It would, however, step that way if it was going to try to get to me. Okay. Okay, good. Stuff happens. Multi-push, whatever. Tiles are considered in the following order: northwest, north, northeast, west, wait, east, southwest, south, southeast. So all being equal with regards distance from throw and his sword, the Goblin will prefer more northerly and westerly directions. Okay, so that's basically what I was saying in the other rooms where this could have mattered at all. So what's going on here? It doesn't matter which of these I hit. I can only do one of them? Are these identical? Yes. So they prefer northerly and westerly, so I think I want the bottom one open because it's going to be easier for me to manipulate, whereas this one should, as long as I am here. As long as I step here, if you're on this arrow, you will step off, right? Yeah, I can't do a whole lot with my sword, so I have to do that. Maybe I've misinterpreted this. Okay. Let's try this again. Yeah, there we go. And from here, hit the bomb, and it blows up everything. This is a somewhat obscure trick, I guess. I'm safe because I'm on a wall, and then this is going to hit through diagonally. Okay. But now, what do I do about you? The same thing, I guess, only the point of this is that in this situation you will step that way. Okay. Right. What a weird room. Okay. This opens all 3 doors behind the goblins, but that doesn't actually cause them to move at all, so this is fine. Okay, so now what's going on? I hit this orb, and this orb to get out. Okay, so this is just 3 separate puzzles. The bombs tell me that I do this. Goblin tries to dodge that way. Okay. I'm confused, actually, by this room. What's going on here? Because I can do that. What good does that do me? Pretty much none. There's no way to hit one of those safely. Is it possible to get one of these guys out? I don't think so. So do I want them... I want them not on... that, right? So I do that. I see. And I just stabbed them. Okay, I got it. I got it. Switch so that we can get them. So we just have to know which way they're going to move. We have to know which way they're going to move. You are going to move north. Yeah. Okay, a little bit of a weird room, but it made sense at the end. Okay. And it does appear that we are done. So as far as this room goes then, so if I can try to understand what was going on here. It considers all 9 squares. Squares closest to B-throw are danger, but are good, but squares closest to the sword are bad, even if they're next to B-throw. So when I'm here, with my sword here, the goblin doesn't want to be here, it wants to go here. Out of these two, equally bad because of the sword, it prefers to stay. Here, I'm standing here with my sword facing north. Goblin wants to move. Out of these two, I guess, are equally bad because of the sword, but this one is not, so that's why it moves. And when it says stay, it tries to move, but the rattlesnake is blocking it. So okay, so yeah, I've got it. I understand. Hopefully that made some sort of sense. Roaches move first. Okay, turn order. Turn order, you could right-click on stuff back then, but I guess maybe it wasn't that common. Okay, so what am I actually trying to accomplish here? I do note that I can just step on this. I do note that the goblin can just step on this. Okay. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? If we want the goblin to step on it, we need to have you released. How... You're going to move 1, 2, and then you're going to choose between those two. You're going to prefer this one to this one. So we're gonna need the roach to be here when you make that move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, which one moves first? Roaches move first. That's no good. Okay, I was off by 1 turn. 2. Yeah, that'll do it. There we go. Yeah, because you're trying to move here. You want to move here, but the roach is blocking you. But you see that space is basically as good. It's just that it's your preference isn't quite as good. So you go there, but it's the same distance. Okay. Right. So now, in order to get you to move here, it's the same issue. This space and this. So sword is here. This space bad. This space bad. This space safe, this space safe. So we need this roach to be here to move. Okay, so it's going to be... Oops. So we're going to be like this. Set up like this. So that you're here. So I'm going to do that the turn that the roach steps there. Okay. So roach moves first, as it said. Just move that aside. So do that. Beautiful. What a neat little room. What a neat little room. Yeah, because if I wait 1 turn, it's just going to switch places. Okay. That's what I thought, but I just need to confirm that. Okay. And of course, that was not the way to turn my sword. Let's go around this way. There we go. Alright, well that looks like that's it for Goblins. I managed to get through everything in 40 minutes, with a lot of preamble and talking and just being generally annoying. Okay, this isn't actually much of a puzzle, it's just this weird setup that didn't need to exist, but whatever. Stop it. So that's it for Goblins. Very educational. I like this room quite a bit, learning about the Goblin movement preferences, why it doesn't work on the south, but it does work on the north. The room, I shouldn't have hit the exit just now. That room there is pretty cool too, with the choosing which way the Goblin's going to move and having the setup for that. That was a neat room. This was kind of weird, but it was okay. That was a good little room, good one to start with. Yeah, no, these were all. This was a fairly fantastic entry, and now. It showed decoys, it showed mimics, it showed clones, and swords. Is there anything else that I can think of involving Goblins that wasn't demonstrated here that should have been? Not that I know of. I've heard that brained Goblins are really weird, but I've also heard that there's a brain entry that's pretty big. So I'm hoping that'll be covered under brains, and not... Oh, this music is kind of neat if you wait this long. Yeah, so I'm hoping that'll be covered when we get to brains. Speaking of which, Bethro returned from the now solved Goblin Annex. Speaking of which, I don't know if the next entry is brain or not, but those Goblins are sneaky little devils, aren't they? Yeah, but speaking of which, let's find out what the next entry is going to be. So first, we have to use our Goblin sword manipulation stuff to scare the Goblin south. Yeah, I have to wait there. There we go. Let me do that. Sure. Not the most efficient, but whatever. Goblins, Fagundos, finished. Wait, we can go north? Eyes, potions, brain roaches. Oh, I see. Eyes and potions got an entry together? Or are they referring specifically to invisibility potions? Because potions don't block eye line of sight, do they? Anyway, brain roaches. That'll be fun. Oh boy, there's a puzzle. Invisibility. Got a roach that needs to make take a path to me. It can't see me across the force arrows, so it's just gonna sit there like a dumb roach. All kinds of good stuff. This looks like a fantastic hub level summary of a whole bunch of different brain roach behavior. Which is something I wonder, maybe someone can tell me. I'm just curious. Are these hub level rooms designed by the person that made the entry, or are they designed by the person that did the hub? Because I've noticed some of them seem really good, and others seem a little bit plain. If that makes sense. Like, not that... Like... It's not that this is bad, or not that the other entries were bad, but some of them, like, this was a little bit of a puzzle, this was a bit of a puzzle, it incorporated stuff that we'd learned. Fagundos was a little bit of a puzzle, but then Roach Queen was just kind of trivial, getting to the end. Seep was again pretty trivial here. This was trivial, but at least it demonstrated speed potion behavior as a requirement, and this was again more involved. So I'm just wondering if the hub levels, the hub rooms, what the design process was behind that. If it was just one guy who was a little bit lazy on some of them, or if it was actually the architects that put them together. It doesn't really matter. I'm just curious, and I'm rambling when I should be ending an episode. So that was Goblins. Fantastic little entry. Learned a whole bunch of stuff about platforms. I mean Goblins. And we will be going on to brain roaches, which are actually, like, the brain is another very interesting element. I'm I'm not sure if this is going to count as the brain entry, or if it's specifically just brain brooches. This might be the brain entry that I've been told about. But I guess we'll find out next time, and probably it's going to be a multi-parter. I will see you then.